Yo. The reason why we are going live right now is because the New York Knicks have just won the Eastern Conference for the first time since 1999. I was 7 years old when that happened. And as much as New Yorkers can talk crazy and we can be loud and be arrogant, this is a special moment. I've shared this story with friends, but I've never really shared this like I do all the time. I always say, I've said this story 1,000 times, but I've never said it on here. So, born and raised in New York. My mother was a nurse for a while, then she became a nurse practitioner. And when I was in school, I had to have been 10. So this is 2002, I think. And the Knicks do this thing every year. Well, I don't know if they do it anymore, but they have a Garden of Dreams Foundation. And the Garden of Dreams Foundation is basically like charity work for, different things around the city, just giving back to people in need. And essentially they did this program where they had a reading competition. Honestly, I think the Knicks were so bad that that's why they just needed people in the building. But they had this reading competition. And essentially, if you got within, I think the top 10 of a specific class, you got to go to a game for free. And I'm pretty sure it was my class or something like that. But I won it, right? I was in one of the 10 people that were in it. But my mother couldn't go because I just said before she worked night shifts. So my grandfather took me, and I had never been to Manhattan before. I probably have been to Manhattan before, but I have no memory of going into Manhattan at any point prior to this. So my mom picks me and my grandfather up. We drive in, and we're there. I have no idea what's happening. I just have the tickets in my hand. I give it to my grandfather. We go in. We go up the stairs because if people don't realize, they play the MSG games on I think the 5th floor or whatever. So if you ever see videos of players running in or coming in through a tunnel or a ramp, that's what they're doing. Because they used to have circuses at MSG, so that's why there's no one on the 1st floor. And I sat down, watched the game. Didn't really know what was happening. They were playing the Timberwolves. Kevin Garnett was on the team at the time, and they were getting smacked, just absolutely smacked, to the point where I asked my teacher at the time, Mr. Mack, shout out to him, Mr. Mack, I was like, is there a 5th quarter? And I think that was the first time I realized oh, wow, there's real pain with this team. And he said, no, there's no damn 5th quarter. And he was obviously pretty pissed. And that was the day I became a Knicks fan. And it had been pretty much 20 years of the worst decision I've ever made in my entire life. They sucked. They had a couple of good seasons with Carmelo. They had that We Here season, the COVID year with Julius Randle. And my life was always just you root for the Knicks and the team's always going to suck. They're always going to suck. They're never going to be good. Why do you keep rooting for this team? I have friends of mine from New York who would just turn on the Knicks and laugh because they'd be down by 20, 30 points, 40 points. And that was every day, every time he played. And to see how far they've come is honestly, it's nothing short of amazing. I mean, the low points of my life for Knicks fans was just, I'm talking Kristaps getting hurt and then requesting off the team, Phil Jackson openly beefing with Carmelo Anthony, Jeremy Lin for 3 weeks and then not playing in playoff games since he was 85% healthy, Amari punching a fire escape and busting his hand open in a game that they proceeded to get. I don't think they got swept in that series. No, was that? I'm trying to remember. No, that was the same series. They didn't get swept. They lost in 5 games, but they were down 0-3. And the 4th game, they actually dropped confetti. That really happened. Yeah, I saw that. I saw June 30th, 2019 was a very dark day when when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving went to the fucking Nets. I could just go on and on and on, but honestly, man, this is really for the city. I love New York so damn much. This is the place. This is my home. This is going to be my home forever. And I couldn't just be happier to say that I'm from here, to say that this is still my team. This is the team I've rooted for my entire life, and that they are going to the NBA Finals. It's one of the last really, really big things left that I think a certain group of Americans, and this is very specific for American sports. I can't really speak on like, I know Arsenal just won the league, and I don't know how, whether or not that's like how big that is per se, but this is up there with the Cubs winning the World Series. This is up there with the Red Sox winning the World Series. This is up there with the Browns winning the Super Bowl. This is up there with, like just Cleveland, to give them respect, even though they got beat really bad today. LeBron coming home and giving them a championship, their first championship in the city of Cleveland, I think in 50 years, whenever they won it. It's up there. And it just feels so really fucking good right now. Jalen Brunson completely changed this city. He changed this franchise. And he saved this team, because this was so dead. It was dead. And I'm going to go on for a couple minutes more about the Knicks, and then I swear to you, I'll pass it on to talk about the next series, about who they might play. But this was a risk. They got to this point last year. They were the co-favorites coming into the year this year. They got lambasted for their process of not only firing their coach, but who was the guy that they looked to replace their coach. They had a 2-9 stretch where it seemed like everything was falling apart. I was pretty convinced that Mike Brown hated Karl-Anthony Towns. And through it all, I'm watching it right now. They're on the floor, everyone, holding the Eastern Conference Championship. Something that they haven't won with a 2 starting in the year of our Lord. Like, it is just something that you didn't know was really going to happen, and then now it finally happened. All the moves that Leon Rose made just hit on everything. Signing Brunson to the deal that he did, trading for every one of their starters. This team, from a asset management point, as far as who they got, very much is like those early Pistons teams. If you even want to make another comparison, it's kind of like that Raptors team from 2019. None of those guys were drafted that played. They're at least on the starting unit, except for Pascal Siakam. OG, I know he was on the team, but he didn't play. The only guys to get any major minutes on this team that was drafted by this organization was just Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, who has been on so many shit teams. I mean, he has been a guy who went through the ringer, but shout out to the whole organization. Shout out to even James Dolan, because at the end of the day, he put money into this team. He gave the team the resources to what they need to do. And now they're headed. It's so wild for me to even say this out loud. They're heading to the NBA Finals. Like, that's happening. They're going to the finals. And who they're going to play, I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a team. Whether it's the Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder, that series is just going to be a dogfight for whatever it's going to be, however long it's going to go. But the Knicks have a real chance. I know a lot of people think that this is the bar for this team. If this is the max where they get to, I don't want anyone to take away the accomplishment that this was. This is really hard to do. I mean, they've won 11 straight games, and they beat the hell out of everyone they played. The last game that they won by single digits was a month ago. They've beaten teams like the breaks off teams. And it is just one of the most astounding things I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a team do this for this long. And they're going to be the underdogs no matter who they play, unless there's some type of injury to Shea or Wemby. coming up, which I hopefully doesn't happen. But these guys are going to be looking up at either a generational player who has the talent to be the best player of all time, or the two-time defending champs, or the one-time defending champ rather, two-time defending Western Conference champions if Oklahoma City gets there, with the two-time defending MVP on that side. It is a daunting challenge, but this team is up for it, and it is one of the most special group of guys that I think that you would find. Guys that had a lot of doubt, I would say, a lot of people who didn't believe in them. A lot of people who didn't believe in them this year. I'm talking about the Celtics were the favorites to win the conference to start the year, or rather to start the playoffs. They lose to the Sixers. The Sixers then all of a sudden become the favorites. Then it becomes Cleveland's now the team that gets it done because they have more talent than the Knicks. And through all of that, it's done. I mean, the city is going crazy right now. There's videos on my phone, people just rampaging through the streets. Shout out to Zoran. We about the same age. I don't know how you about to handle these boroughs, but brother, you got my blessing because this city is going crazy and they needed this so much. I will end simply by saying Spurs and Thunder is going to keep being a battle. I think that the Spurs really showed a lot in their last game, really coming out and blowing out the Thunder. I think this SGA flopping noise is just going to keep getting lean more to the Spurs, and they're going to do everything they can to push and push and push and push to get more physical with him. I don't mind physicality. Honestly, I'd never minded how Oklahoma City played on defense. The only thing that frustrated me was the fact that they were allowed to play one way on defense and then would flop all the time on offense for calls. If they are consistently allowed to play physical, then the other team is allowed to play physical with them. And that's all that matters. I'm sticking with OKC in 7 games, but I got the Knicks winning the championship like I had before to start the year. All right, everyone. Thank you guys again for listening so much. Please enjoy yourself. Enjoy the moment. Soak it in. There's the next couple of weeks that are just going to be awesome. Hopefully the weather in New York at least gets better. But the New York Knicks are in the motherfucking NBA Finals. Let's go.